Mr. Chairman, it is 6:06 p.m. and we're live.
Do we have Greg on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Greg. So,
You can only watch the reflection.
Anthony, if you can go ahead and open the meeting.
Sure will do.
Catch up with Greg.
Great. Call this October 6th Planning and Zoning Board Meeting Order 607. Mary, when you're ready, would you call the roll, please?
Yes. Greg Rice. Anthony Bernardo.
Here.
Mark Hum.
Here.
Laura Starr. Here. Edmund LeBlanc.
Here.
Zaid. Shamsi Basha.
Here.
Juan Con.
Here.
Greg.
He's got unmute.
Oh, I'm here.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. You have a form.
And quite a quorum we do have. Thank you, everybody, for showing up for this evening's, what is it, October 6th or 7th, P&Z meeting, Lake Worth Planning and Zoning Board. We've got roll call out of the way, and let me see, hold on here. I couldn't get in to get started. Have we done the Pledge of Allegiance? Yes, we did.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not
Greg.
yet. Oh, okay. Who wants to give it a stab?
It's Juan's turn. No. Okay.
Okay, good. Please. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
United States of America,
and
to the republic
for
which it
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
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 God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty.
liberty, and justice for all. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay, dokie. Are there any additions, deletions, removals, or anything, Sherry?
No, there are none.
Thank you very much. Okay. Who had a chance to read the meetings of September's planning and zoning meeting? Anybody?
I read it.
How'd you like it? Good reading?
It was interesting.
Good.
I lived it once before. I moved to approve the minutes from the September meeting.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Juan. All those in favor of the motion as read, say aye. Aye. Okay, thank you. That passes unanimous, Sherry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure,
Thank
just
you.
report. I didn't vote. I wasn't here at the last meeting.
Well, you didn't need to vote then. You're Canadian. Can you vote in our elections?
They haven't caught me yet.
Okay. Okay, good. Let's go on to our go to our cases here. Have we sworn in staff and anybody that's going to speak tonight? Sherry? Not yet.
We have not yet done so. Let us move over. Give us a moment to move everyone over. Erin's doing that right now. As soon as she has everybody over, we'll be able to.
Give us to go, Erin.
I'm on it, sir.
Thank
So
you.
let's go ahead and have everybody, once you're promoted to a panelist, you'll get a note, promoted to panelist. Please turn on your video and your audio. Sherry will need to see you, who's our clerk, to swear you in for the quasi-judicial portion of the meeting.
Good. Let us know when that is complete.
It's a party tonight, so it's just gonna
It
be.
sounds like it. It was a party last night at the city commission meeting.
So if you joined, sometimes if you join with your phone, not through the app, but through the, calling in the phone number, it doesn't always work. So just make sure that you log in through the web link, whether that's on your cell phone or on a computer. I'm having difficulty promoting Samantha, Vito, and John. Well, I see John has 2 ones. So just check it out. Make sure you have to accept the promotion to panelist. All right, Chair, we have a full house. Actually, Jay and Vito, please turn, and Samantha, if you intend to give testimony, please turn on the camera and unmute yourself.
Hi, this is Jake. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You. Hi, Sam.
Okay, Rico, Baca, if you please unmute.
Yes.
Yeah, please unmute.
And if you can turn on your cameras, Jay and Vito, please, if possible.
And Paul as well, please, Paul. Okay, so anyone who we don't have on at the moment, we'll do it when we get to your project. We won't. So please raise
Should
your
I
right
stay
hand.
muted until we get to my project?
I'm going to swear you in, and we're going to go through this process again at that point.
So Rico, please.
So it'd be
unmute.
just as easy to do it now. It'll save a little bit of time on the way.
Good.
All right, Rico? Because you're up like second one, so you want to unmute, thank you.
Okay, you can hear us now?
No, I can't.
Yes.
And
Okay.
I guess Carrie is not, she's just gonna listen with you maybe, unless
I'll
she.
listen.
Carrie's the note taker.
Okay, all right, good enough. Please raise your right hand, everyone who's giving testimony. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Now give us a moment to move you back over to attendee, and then we'll proceed with the first case.
Okay. Thank you. Practically painless. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 cases that we're going to be discussing tonight. I'm guessing we have no withdrawals or postponements. So that being said, any board disclosures? Have any of the board members had a chance to sit down and talk with any of the applicants or their representatives on any of these cases that will be coming before you tonight? And if you have, do you think your testimony, the testimony you'll be hearing will be influenced by that?
Open nobody.
I guess not. Thank you. Okay, there's no unfinished business. Let's jump right on into new business, which is PZB Board 2021-01 30000002. This is a city-initiated small-scale future land use map flume amendment, ordinance 2021-18, and zoning map amendment, order 2021-19. On behalf of the Dixie Capital Partners, let's jump right on into new business, which is PZB Board 2021-01 30000002. This is a city-initiated small-scale future land use map flume amendment, ordinance 2021-. I'm hearing myself back on a delayed basis.
We're not really sure
On behalf
why.
of the Dixie
Hold on a
Capital
second.
Partners, PZB Board 2021-0.
Here we go.
Okay,
Sorry, for some reason, the YouTube thing decided to turn its volume on itself, so we're not
Okay.
sure why.
okay. Let me know when we're ready to wheels up.
We're ready to get started, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Once again, in time for summer reruns, this is PZB 21-01 300002. It's a city-initiated small-scale future land use map flume amendment ordinance 2021-18 and zoning map amendment ordinance 2021-19 on behalf of the Dixie Capital Partners LLC in coordination with the city of Lake Worth Beach, its electric utilities, and requesting a flume amendment from the mixed use east, MU East, FLU to the public IP, requesting a flume amendment from the mixed use east, FLU to the public P, and rezoning from mixed use Dixie Highway to zoning district to the,
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I can take it over from here with
okay,
the staff presentation.
take it, thank you.
Uh,
You guys
good
can't
evening.
make anything easy, can we?
Good evening. For the record, Erin Sita, Assistant Director for Community Sustainability. As previously stated, this is a concurrent future land use map amendment and a rezoning or official zoning map amendment. So both of these items are going from mixed use Dixie Highway and mixed use east to the public future land use designation and zoning district. This is to facilitate locating a new substation on these properties. Next slide. So kind of what I already said, so we can just keep, we can keep going, and it just takes a minute. So basically, the proposed amendments have a staff recommendation of approval. They're consistent with the comp plan, the strategic plan. There are sufficient levels of service within the city, which is one of the required reviews under Florida Chapter 163. Staff is recommending approval of this item.
Very good. Anything else you want to say to that, or you want to continue on?
I'll just mention that this is, the reason why this is here for a flume and a rezoning is kind of a quirky anomaly in Lake Worth Beach. Not many local governments have their own electric utility, so it's a policy of our city to have all of our city-owned property in the public land use designation. In the Florida statute, there's an exemption for a flume amendments and to allow for substations in any land use category. So this is, we're going through this because this is a local requirement. It's a local preference for publicly owned lands to have a publicly designated future land use designation. As I said, there is an exemption in the statute with citing criteria to allow for substations in any land use because they're considered critical infrastructure. And that concludes my presentation. Here are the potential motions.
Does all the board members, do you understand what it is you're going to be voting on here
Yes.
or recommending?
And it is an ordinance that you would be making a recommendation to the city commission whether to
Right.
approve.
Right. Then you need a motion, Aaron?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we also have Paul Nichols from the electric utility, if you guys have any questions, just in case. But that's what's under consideration.
Okay, anybody have any questions for him? Okay, anybody got a motion that they'd like to propose or entertain?
I move to recommend approval of the proposed amendment to the future land use map ordinance 2021-18 based on the data analysis and the staff report and the testimony at the public hearing. That will be number one.
And the second? Do we have a second?
Second.
Yes.
We have a second, thank you.
I second.
We need to call the question on the first
Second.
one. So there's a motion and a second to do both.
You want to do them both at once?
Who was the second?
Laura,
Laura?
thank you.
Thank you. You want to do both of them, Aaron?
No, one at a
We
time.
need to vote, Mr. Chairman, on
Okay,
that first
so
one.
let's vote on this one. Okay, I'll call a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Do we need a roll call vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Sounds unanimous on my phone, or on my iPad.
Yes, you have it unanimous.
All right, and I move to recommend approval of the proposed amendment to the zoning map ordinance 2021-19 based on the data analysis and the staff report and the testimony of the public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Motion by Anthony, second by Mark. Any
Second.
discussion? Any discussion? Questions? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Sounds unanimous, Sherry.
It is. Thank you.
And thank you for thanking me. Aaron, are we done with this one?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we're ready for the next one.
Okay, let's move on.
Thank you very much,
PCB.
staff.
PCB project number 21-1400022. This is a consideration of a major site plan request for the renovation and expansion of an existing structure to accommodate a retail establishment and an approval for an approved auction house at 1209, 1215, and 1217 North Dixie Highway. The proposed the proposed building addition is to increase the area of the existing building from existing building at 1215 and 1217 North Dixie Highway from 5,341 square feet to a 7,337 square feet. Square foot addition. Okay, Aaron. Ooh, that looks nice.
This is actually Deborah Slusky, our principal planner, is going to, this was her project, so she's gonna do the presentation. She's gonna take the lead.
Good.
Thank you, Chair and board
Thank
members.
you.
Thank you. So for the first item that I'll be presenting tonight, it is planning and zoning project number 21-14-00022. For the record, I am Deborah Slasky, principal planner. We have Jim, Rico, and the Palm Beach Modern Auctions team to present the request. Once they have introduced the request, I'll come back and provide the analysis by staff with the recommendation. Go ahead, Rico and Jim. Just let me unmute yourselves.
Thank you.
I think
Let us know when you're there, gentlemen.
South.
How about now?
There you.
Perfect.
Hey,
Okay.
guys.
All right. I'm Jim Payne, architect. This is Rico and Wade, the principals of the modern auction business, Palm Beach Modern Auctions. You can see.
You got somebody behind you waving, so you might want to recognize him.
That's Wade. I'm sorry. That's Wade.
Sorry about that.
That's Rico.
Okay.
And Carrie too.
And Carrie is also our helping with many things. This
Sorry,
is a
go ahead.
rendering viewed from the southeast, just to give you all a feel of the architectural style that we're proposing for the old Abrams flooring building, which is in the foreground. There's also a house on the site that's going to be treated similarly. And so I wanted to start with this view, but Deborah, if you can help me, I'll move now to the site plan so that I can describe where these buildings are. And Deborah, can you hear me?
Yes.
There you go. Thank you.
There we go. Thank you.
Deborah has kindly offered to assist in going through these drawings with me. North Dixie Highway is in the middle of the sheet, vertically. North is at the top. Can you see my cursor?
No, I'm the one sharing.
Okay. All right. Well, the Abrams flooring building is this large building of about 5,000 square feet right in the middle. We're planning an addition of 1,996 square feet to the building, and that's the shaded area to the south. In the rendering, we don't need to flip back to it, but that was the view of the main entry off this existing parking lot, which we're going to restripe and resurface. This whole lot is currently landscaped except for this small area in the front. We're going to keep most of that landscaping We're also pulling out a bunch of pavement here in front of the building and going to landscape in that area. And we're reducing the pavement on the north portion of the property and adding landscaping in between the two buildings. This is where it says existing total retail. That's currently a residential structure. And it's going to be renovated in the similar style to the building that appeared in the rendering. It's just in the background. And if we move forward, we can look at the elevations and you can see what that building is going to look like from the Dixie view. And Deborah, if you could move forward to the elevation sheets, that would help, I think, the board understand what the streetscape from Dixie is going to look like. Deborah?
It's going. It's just taking a little bit of time to show for you.
Okay, all right. That's the streetscape from Dixie. At the top, you see Abrams Flooring's building to the left, and the house, which is a little further from Dixie, is in the background. We are going to redo the facades, increase the fenestration to more than the 25% required, and adopt kind of a modern architectural style for both structures, which is shown in the streetscape view, which is second from the top. The existing view is above that. And then below we have the south elevation, which will also be visible from the street to northbound traffic. And that's really the view of the rendering, is that taller addition and entry feature that you see there. And the other drawings that we have are the landscape plan, the paving and drainage plan. I can go through those, the roof plan, which outlines all the parapet heights, and then the views of the surrounding buildings. The style is going to be kind of similar to that one in the upper left, which is a couple doors down to the south on the same side of the street. There's also a sizable building across the street in the lower right-hand corner. And then the other views are the subject property and the building directly next door to the south. And that's just kind of an overview. I don't want to go into great detail because I know that the staff has prepared a very comprehensive analysis of the issues and they're prepared to present their portion. We're here to answer any questions that you may have for me, the architect, or for the owners of the business.
Thank you, Rigo. Okay. So does the city want to make their presentation now?
Yes, give us 1 second. We're switching presentations.
Great.
That was okay. I don't want to hurt it.
I always tell her less words.
Yeah, sometimes.
You guys look pretty good being on TV like that.
We're hanging in there.
That's right. Trying to get me a
We
run for
got
my money
camera
out
ready before we came.
All right, we're ready here.
Okay, we got our seatbelts on. Let's go.
Thank you. All right. So the location of the project is between 12th Avenue and 13th Avenue on the west side of Dixie Highway. It currently has 3 parcels. It's 1209, 1215, 1217 North Dixie Highway. The existing land use of the property is retail, office, and residential. The future land use map designation is mixed use east. The zoning district is mixed use Dixie Highway. So here you can kind of see what Jim was trying to explain. On the north side of the property, that's the existing single family residence that is being converted into a retail space. They're going to be using approximately 2,100 square feet of that space to showcase products on a daily basis. And then towards the middle of the property, you have the existing building, which is being converted into an auction house. And as some of you might remember, the auction house was approved by the board in July through a conditional use. So what they're doing here is just expanding the existing building to accommodate the auction house, and proposing architectural modifications and site improvements to accommodate the commercial uses. The site is gonna have 14 parking spaces and a bike rack. Landscape improvements are also being proposed. Here you have an existing image of how it looks and how the site will be once the improvements go through. And then here you have all the architectural elevations that face Dixie Highway. The proposed style is a modern style, and it complies with the major thoroughfare design guidelines. With regards to the surrounding properties, it is consistent. It is surrounded by commercial properties such as office, other retail establishments, and a vacant building. And on the west side of the property, on the other side of a 10-foot alleyway, there is a mix of single family and multifamily residential properties. This table is from your staff report. It identifies how the site complies with the land development regulations. Most of the conditions are being improved. There are some existing nonconformities that are being improved or maintained as allowed by right. And also, to conclude the presentation, the proposal complies with the comprehensive plan, strategic plan, major thoroughfare design guidelines, and it is consistent with the conditional use that was approved for the auction house, and it is consistent with the qualitative development standards. A recommendation by staff is provided for approval with conditions. The conditions are listed in page 7 and 8 of the staff report. Once the board is ready to make a motion, we'll leave them on the screen, but you do have 2 options, a motion for approve and deny it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's look at there we go. At the current board, who would like to ask the first question? Or do we have a first question?
Greg, may I?
Yes, you certainly can.
Thank you. In here, we have proposed 72% of the max impermeable surface coverage. Staff's noted that the maximum would be approved at 70 as conditioned. I just want to make sure that the applicant's fine with that and that that 2% has been resolved. Not be an issue.
Rico and Jim, I'll refer to you. What the board member is asking is the emails that we have been with you back and forth about the impervious amount. And he's just asking to confirm that you will be making modifications to the site plan to comply with the 70%.
Yes, we will be able to do that. We have some additional paved area that we could give up. Or as staff has mentioned, we could possibly use a different type of paver that gives 50% pervious. So we agree with the condition.
All right, good enough. Good solution. Everything else looks like it's relatively in order, more parking spaces than required. So that was it. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes,
How much-
ma'am, Laura. Go ahead. Go ahead, Laura.
Under the landscaping and street trees, it says that the trees shall be installed at a minimum of every 25 feet of frontage. How much frontage is there on this whole property?
The whole property, there's 200 linear feet of frontage. And we have some existing curb cuts that we have to work around. But the landscape plan shows that we have, you know,
8 trees.
yeah, we have, I think, 8 trees. We can, if we need to add more, we can. We have it dimensioned. You know, there's some distances greater than 25 feet, but that's because of the sight vision triangles that are required for visibility to get in and out of the parking lots. And then in the middle, where we do have the ability to get closer than 25 feet, there's a 15, a 15, a 17, a 21, and another 17. So we've tried to compress in the middle to make up for the curb cuts where we have to spread out a bit.
What kind of trees are you proposing?
We're proposing crepe myrtles in the narrower area in front of the existing building And then where we have room, we're proposing sea grapes. There's 4 of them in the wider areas.
Thank
If I may, there is actually a condition of approval that requires the proposal to be revised to comply with the major thoroughfare design guidelines with the shade tree. So the ones that are proposed on the site plan, they're not the recommended types. So there's a condition that asks the applicant to revise them to comply with the guidelines.
Have they seen that list? I'm sure they have.
Yes, we have. I talked to the arborist about the sea grapes. They are a native tree. He mentioned that there are some negative things about the sea grapes because they have big leaves and they're hard to clean up after, but he told me that he was good with the sea grapes. So I'm a little surprised by the condition, but obviously if you guys, force us to go with the list, we'll do it. But the sea grapes were preferred.
When they're out on site, if I can, sometimes when they're out on site, they talk conceptually about what might be okay or what might not be okay. And then when it comes in, if it's on the major thoroughfare, it's not a preferred species on the major thoroughfare. So the comment was made and it was conditioned to just swap out the species. And that happens. Sometimes we, it's an easy thing for us to do at permit. And through a condition of approval. So a shade tree is preferred with the major thoroughfare design guidelines, and there are preferred tree species along the major thoroughfares in the chart and table that's embedded in the document. So one of those species will be selected.
So the sea grape trees are not going in?
The sea grapes will not be permitted, no, per the condition of approval.
How close are the trees to the street?
They're
Sea grapes?
And all of them, what's the closest, because they call them street trees, so
most of them are within the 7 feet along, because the building is set very close to the front of the street.
Mhm.
So the bulk of the crepe myrtles are located between the street and the front of the building, which is probably why they selected a crepe myrtle, because it can be managed. The sea grapes are set probably, I would say, what would you say, Deborah, like 10 feet?
It varies, but it has to be between the front line of the building and the sidewalk to provide shade around the sidewalk.
And you don't want them right next to the sidewalk because they damage the sidewalk. So you want like a larger shade tree to probably be set 10 to 15 feet, 10 feet back from the sidewalk. It's not a good scenario to have it right close because it'll tear up the whole sidewalk.
if they're pruned regularly, they don't tear up the sidewalk.
The roots can, so depending on the type of the tree, there's strategies such as a root barrier that can be planted around if the landscape professional feels that there could be some impacts to the sidewalk or the foundation of the building if it's placed too close. But that's something that staff would work closely with the applicant.
Also too, if you root barrier your tree, your larger shade trees, it will stunt their growth and they won't reach a full canopy of maturity.
Okay. Anybody else have questions?
Yeah,
One last
Go ahead,
question.
Mike.
What is the, what color is the building gonna be? Is it all gonna be
White.
one color or different colors? White.
White.
Like white. Is that
Perfect.
correct, guys? White?
Yes, it is correct. White, yes.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Juan.
The maximum impermeable coverage. I see that you have the parking spaces that are, I guess, 14 plus 1, counting the bike rack, that's 4 bike spaces, but you seem to be above the base zoning district at 72% instead of 65%. And I understand it's not that bad, it's only 7% more, but is there any way to get the permeable and impermeable back? Because it's such a big deal in a lot of projects, and I don't know why this is over. And
So the existing, so when we have an existing site come in.
I know, it's a
Try,
non-conforming building, right?
right, so we try to do our best to mitigate the nonconformities whenever feasible. So with this configuration, with what they're proposing, with the addition and then the parking that's there, what they were able to do is they proposed to maintain it at 70%. They are not allowed to be at 72%.
But they are.
Well, that's why we have the condition of approval that they need to have semi-pervious pavement. they either have to remove paving or they have to use semi-pervious pavement
Right.
to get their pervious down to 70.
Semi-pervious pavement has not been allowed on so many projects here in town, only because after 2 years, it gets dirty and it's no longer semi-pervious. And you could ask William, you could ask a bunch of other people, because I've been in a bunch of situations like that. So I think when you put in the semi-pervious pavement, it's gonna end up being the same as doing, I mean, you're almost doing nothing, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Well, if that's the board's wish to not allow semi-pervious on this project, then as a condition of approval, I would recommend semi-pervious is allowed and approved for the credit. So that is something that is allowed in the code. So as an offer of condition of approval, we give the choice. They have to meet it to be code compliant.
All
They
right.
have to bring it down to 70 for the code requirements.
Yeah.
If you would like to add a condition of approval as the board and say, I would like them to meet the 70%, which is to meet at least the existing, and you would like for them to do it by removing pavement. So some of the constraints on the site is that they had added a loading area, and then they had some other, site circulation constraints, which is why we're recommending a combination to them offline of pavement removal and semi-pervious application, so that they would have an appropriate. And we talked about too, meeting it maybe through
Like an eco block or something like
yes,
that? Yeah.
with the loading area, to maybe make that like an actual turf block or something where a truck can go on occasionally and not be used maybe as regularly as the parking spaces. So if you know of an application that would work, we'd recommend, I think that would be great.
No, the eco block is fine. It's just, I've been on so many of these that all of a sudden, you know, things do go bad after a while and they become impervious. So that's fine. I was just thinking that would have brought over some of the, I mean, obviously the parking spaces, it helps with that. I know it's a non-conforming building already. And I guess it's been there, it's being conserved, so it's fine. Just asking a question.
No, but I
Thank
think,
you, Juan.
I think the eco block, if that's the will of the board.
No, the eco block's fine. I
we'll-
don't, yeah.
We'll definitely recommend it, and we'll follow it up and implement it, you know.
Okay, remember that.
Well, you have to make a condition of approval. You make a condition of approval. I'll
Remember
make
that.
sure it's there at building permit.
Okay.
So,
Greg, are you still on?
I think you lost him. No, is he?
All right, any other questions for
Yeah,
staff?
I had a couple of questions. I think the questions, I'm looking at this now, and I think that the answers are actually in here, my questions, but I'll speak it anyway. So just to be clear, the setback non-conformities, like going through the proposed, there were 3 non-conformities. One was the impermeable surface, and the other 2 were the front setback and the rear setback. So are the 7-foot 8-inch proposed front setback and the rear 4-foot 9-inch proposed setback, are those both the existing condition
That's
currently? Okay, I couldn't really follow that from the site plan. I couldn't.
I'm trying to pull so we can.
Would it be possible to just show us where I'm just curious to see the front setback, because on the site plan, it looked to me like there was a large front setback. Am I not reading it right, or?
So this one with three different colors, that's the existing conditions of the property.
Right,
Over here, you can see that the building is about 7 feet away from this property line over here.
oh, so the front is on the right side here.
And then
Okay.
this property is along the rear of the property over here.
Yeah.
Partially, it's about 4.7 feet away from the rear property line.
Okay, and so the addition, which is that small shaded part right in the middle, doesn't affect the setbacks whatsoever.
No, and we would not allow an addition to
Sure.
further, we wouldn't you can't add a building and then, the new portion of the building needs to meet the setbacks.
Okay. That was all I had. Thank you.
Mark, any questions?
I'm good.
All right. Fair enough. Right before we move on to a vote, any discussion? All right, with that, I will call, is there a motion anyone would like to make? Juan, now's your chance if you want your condition in there.
I think the condition's already, it's already in there.
No, I think it's a good condition.
The condition of approval for the, I would say the condition of approval to go above the 65% or 70%, 72% should be an eco block.
All right, so wait, hang on. Are you making a motion then?
Yes.
All right, so just start with the beginning part and tack that on at the end.
No,
Okay.
work it out by doing the block in here.
Do I move to approve with the motion or?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I move to approve PZB project number 2114000022 with staff recommendation conditions for major site plan requests associated with the renovation expansion of existing structures to accommodate a retail establishment and an approved auction house at 1209, 1215, and 1217 North Dixie Highway based on the competent and substantial evidence provided in the staff report and testimony of the public hearing, with the condition that the eco block or equal be used to go over the 65% non-pervious
We're allowed 70.
purpose.
Right. Okay.
Can we do that where feasible, because there might be an area which needs a semi-purpose
Right.
pavement or something. I mean, we can make that judgment. But
Yeah, eco block or equal.
we'll push them to the intent of the board.
And they'll have spaces. You can even do a tiny space around the edge, things like that. That could work.
All right, very
So
good.
if I understand, 5% of the impervious area.
It says 65% and it's now at 72, so
So
that
you
would be
want
7%.
7%,
Yes.
or more.
We can't do the 2%.
Right, you mean to the 7.
Okay,
They've already conditioned them at 70.
okay.
So you're saying that you want that 5% to be
It
made out of.
says that the
eco block.
rule is 65 and we're talking inches here, so.
We can't let them go more than their non-conformity.
All right,
So their non-conformity right now is 70.
right.
So they're capped at their non-conformity. So you're saying it's the 5%, that's what.
That's what it is, yeah.
All right, very good. We got a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mark's got the second. All right,
That's where feasible, correct?
Mhm.
Yes.
okay, call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. Those against? Nobody. Motion passes. And by Greg, right? Greg's still not back?
Greg's.
There he is. There he is. He's going up. Greg, how do you vote?
I think he was gone. I think he.
Greg, did you lose power? I also lost power. I think we're neighbors.
Greg, we can't hear you. You've also lost audio.
Dave, were you able to vote on that?
I was, yeah. I came back about 30 seconds beforehand.
I heard his vote come through. It was Greg's I didn't hear.
Greg, you have to unmute.
Greg, if you're voting yes, give us a big YMCA. Why, so we know. All right. Okay, I guess, I don't know what we do. We have a no vote, a non-vote from Greg because we can't hear him.
Yeah. Oh, there.
There it
Can you,
is.
can you hear me
There
now?
you are.
Yes, I vote in the affirmative. Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'd like, we have a guest this evening. She's gonna go ahead and go home. This is our new community planner, Kesey Alexan. And I just wanted to have her kind of witness what we do here in the evenings and introduce you to her. So she comes to us from West Palm Beach. So everybody's been poaching our staff.
I think so, yeah.
So.
Good luck.
Great.
Are we done here?
Yeah, you guys are done. You're approved. You're all set.
You got, you
Okay,
got it.
I'd like to thank everybody for their time, obviously. And we're very excited about the project. And thanks for your feedback and support.
And we look forward to the grand opening.
It will be very, very grand, I promise.
We wouldn't expect anything but that.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, so we're on to item C here. I'm sorry, we got interrupted a little bit there. Welcoming our new friend. All right, so item C, PZB project number 21-025-00001. Consideration of the installation of exterior accent lighting on the west and south facade of the building located at 620 South Dixie Highway in the mixed-use Dixie Highway District. The requested accent lighting is in the form of a single green neon tube attached by tube supports to the building immediately below of the cornice roof line.
The board, once again, Dr. Swatsky, principal planner. I will be presenting the next item. This is a little bit unusual. What is in front of you is a request to approve a neon site plan for the property called La Cantina Club Chino. The address is 620 South Dixie Highway. It is located between 6th Avenue South and 7th Avenue South on the east side of South Dixie Highway. The existing land use is a restaurant and nightclub. The future land use map designation is mixed use east. The zoning district is mixed use Dixie Highway. So once again, what is being proposed is the installation of exterior accent lighting on the west and on the west facade, on the west and south facade of the building. The accent lighting is in form of a single green neon tube attached to the building below the roof line. So here you have a picture how it would look during the day and how it would look at night. And here you have the west elevation that faces South Dixie Highway. And staff is asking the board to discuss the appropriateness of the proposed request and to consider the standards in section 2351, which are associated with signs, and they also include conditions for accent lighting and the type of building that it should be considered and associated with. So as a summary, we're not providing a recommendation, it is a board's discretion. Once you're ready, you have two motions, approve or disapprove. I don't see the applicant here. I'll try my best to answer any questions you might have. But this concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Great. All right. Thank you very much.
What's the reasoning?
They want it.
I know, and everybody else is gonna want, everyone else is gonna want neon lighting, and I didn't even think our city allowed neon lighting, but now we see it does.
Do they have a picture of it?
There is a picture in the back of material.
It's kind of the picture, it's just a green light. So in the staff report, there is typically the neon is it's allowed, it's typically associated with an art moderne or art nouveau kind of architecture. Art deco.
Here, I've got one.
So it's permitted with the board approval. So we've not had a neon sign.
Green tube.
It's typically an art, predominantly art deco, I would say.
Oh,
It's just a line.
that's the same.
Right, it's
Okay.
just a line, right.
So it's right,
It's just a line under the roof line, that's it.
Now I see it.
I didn't.
That's what you're asking for a picture.
I'm like,
Yeah, that's
well,
it.
you know.
So they have,
Aaron,
they currently have blue and they wanna add green.
Correct.
no, they have none.
It says you have blue now.
They have some already.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
The sign is blue neon. The sign was already permitted. So now the code states that any accent lighting has to be approved by the board. So that's why the request is in front of you.
They're not blinking, right?
No,
So it's,
Blinking is not permitted.
It's a good
Good
take.
question.
Nowadays with the LED, they can change that to whatever color, you know.
Any other questions?
No.
Well, I actually saw something.
It's just a concern.
Staff report.
For one, we're gonna be approving for
Yeah,
everything.
everybody.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Aaron,
I think that's coming from you, Mr. Chairman. Do you have
It
YouTube
is.
on?
do I have what on?
YouTube? You're having an echo, because the echo
I'm
happens,
having a bad echo.
yeah.
It's either that or
The
one of
echo
the
doesn't
computers.
happen unless it's through yours. So maybe can you rejoin?
Is this any better?
No, if you have YouTube open on a browser, you need to close YouTube.
I don't have it open. I don't think, I'm sure of that. But I do have a question.
Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, I think, Greg, you're gonna need to rejoin.
I'm trying now.
All right, while Greg figures out his stuff, does anyone else have any other questions in the chambers?
I have one question.
Oh yeah, I did hear Zay was trying to get in. Is he frozen?
Yeah,
There he is.
yeah, I wanted to make sure I was coming through clearly. I did have a question though. I saw something in the staff report about they would have to come back and seek approval to change the color. I just wanted to get some confirmation that would be the case. Because I heard someone say, and excuse me, I am remote, but I heard someone say that they could change the color easily or something like that, or that maybe there was a blue light or something.
There's a LED, there's an LED strip light now that allows you to change color at a click of the LED. That's what yeah. So there's a lot of that going on now.
So the condition of approval and what is in front of the board is for green neon light. Of course, if they change, then they wouldn't be in compliance with the approval if it is approved. As a condition of approval, staff listed that if the building color would change, because perhaps now it could be deemed appropriate with the green accent light. But if the building was to have a different color, then the neon light would have to be reconsidered.
And I think one of the main examples of neon light in the city is the Publix, because it's kind of that deco style.
Right, this isn't LED, it's an actual neon tube.
This is
Right,
a neon light.
Thank you.
It's not LED? I think it's probably LED. I'm not gonna get. Let's not get specific.
They say
Stop saying.
neon, I'm assuming it's real neon.
Right,
Right, then they're out of.
real neon won't change, right? The LED will change
No,
like this.
yeah,
Click.
we're not. Oh, I just wanted, yeah, I mean, because somebody said there was a existing blue light. Is that a neon light? I mean, I don't see it.
I think it's a club, the club Chino,
The
like the
existing sign
signage, the
is
signage.
a blue neon sign.
And is that the lettering, the club
Mhm.
Chino where the letters are?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I can't see it as I just thought it was black letters attached to the building. Okay. And that's blue.
Correct.
Okay.
Aaron, can you hear me now?
We can hear you, Greg. Ed's asking a question right now. Can you hear us?
That was my question.
Yes.
That was my question. So there's a sign, we think it's blue, and the existing light, I don't think it's neon, but it's the lettering where it says Club Chino La Cantina. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Greg, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead with your question.
My question is, Aaron, does this count toward toward their signage?
No, this is
The neon?
considered accent lighting. It's not, because it's not a commercial message. So it's not signage in the sense. And this is why this is before you, is most signs are approved at the staff level through permit.
Right.
This is a special type of accent lighting that requires board approval because it is more than a sign.
I like Juan's comment that the new digital lights are so much more efficient, and you can change the color with a touch of a button. I don't know why anybody would install, because it can't be that much cheaper.
Well, way more expensive. The neon's very expensive.
Very expensive.
That's gonna be an LED light, but that's okay. It's all right. It'll just be green, and that's what we say. And if it's not, they're gonna get in trouble. That's okay.
Okay.
It's fine.
Your office isn't far from there. You can call it for it. All right, any other questions on this green neon tube?
This is a two.
Sherry,
Yeah.
Sherry, do we have any? Do we have any,
We have no public comment.
no public comments or no cards? Okay. Call for the vote. Anthony,
All right. Well, we got to get a motion first on that one.
well, we can get one from somebody.
Greg, you want to make the motion?
No, I don't
You're
need to.
gaveless at the moment.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay.
I'll
Anyone
pass
else
it.
want to make the motion for the green neon tube?
Sure, I'll make the motion.
All right, here we go.
If I may ask, once you make the motion, just mention that it's green neon. Just to be very specific, that it's only being allowed for the green color.
Okay, I think it says it here. Okay, sure. I move to approve PZB project number 21-025-00001 for an exterior building aesthetic modification request for the installation of accent lighting on the west and south facade of the building located at 620 South Federal Highway, based upon the competent and substantial evidence provided in the staff report and in the testimony at the public hearing, with the condition that if the green building accent color changes, the neon accent light shall be removed and a new proposal shall be considered by the board.
Anything would say that they're being approved for green.
And it will, as it says here, in addition, this is approved for only the green color.
Yeah.
And a neon lighting.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right, we have a motion. We have a second.
One correction, that was 620 South Dixie, not Federal, just to let you know.
Right, Dixie. There's a difference.
Did I say federal?
You said Federal, yeah. It's okay. No problem. It happens all the time.
Thank you. You can just say you accept it, correct.
I live on Federal, that's right.
Hey, do you want to accept that correction to your motion?
Accepted.
All right, perfect. All right.
Who has the second?
Motion on the floor. Who's got the second? Juan's got the second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No,
Nay.
I heard one nay from Greg. Zaid, were you a yes?
I also said no.
I was a yes.
You're a yes, and Laura was a no. Did we get that right? 2 no's, Greg and Laura?
That's what I have.
Okay,
I have 5 to
everyone
2.
affirm that? Yep.
Motion carries.
5-2. Thank you. Moving along.
Moving right along.
PZB project number 21-005-00006. Consideration of a conditional use permit request to allow a 1,040 square feet medical office, the property located at 220 South Dixie Highway, Unit 4. And to you.
Thank you, board. Once again, Deborah Slasky, principal planner. I'll be presenting the conditional use permit for the property located at 220 South Dixie Highway. It is planning and zoning file number 21-005-00006. The land use, the existing land use of the property is a small shopping center with commercial office and retail uses. The future land use map designation is mixed use east, and the zoning district is mixed use Dixie Highway. The property is located between 2nd Avenue South and 3rd Avenue South on the east side of South Dixie Highway, east side. So here you have the location of the subject bay that is requesting the conditional use to establish a medical office. The space is approximately 1,000 square feet, and it is a request to establish a medical office. Once I'm complete with my presentation, the applicant can further describe the activities, hours of operation, and how the office will operate. What I would like to mention is that staff is asking the board to consider a blanket conditional use to allow a medical office for the entire shopping center. If you want to explain, Karen.
Yeah, so basically, the applicant came in for the specific bay for medical office. What we've done in the past is we've allowed for blanket conditional uses. This was an individual podiatrist who asked for that use for that particular bay. And the blanket conditional use would allow staff, if a different doctor's office or a different medical office came in and for a different bay, to rent out that bay as medical office instead of coming back for a conditional use for the individual bay. So what we did is, this is for your consideration. You don't have to approve it if you want to just approve the bay or if you want to approve the blanket conditional use. We just thought it seemed a lot of work to come forward for this space, which has a lot of parking.
What other uses are in there now?
It's retail, typical commercial general. They have a lot of parking spaces. This particular bay previously had a medical office years ago in it, but there was no medical office approval assigned to the property. And so because it had been so many years and, been like the code change 7 or 8 years, it now requires an approval. If you think it's a good spot for doctors' offices to be or medical uses to be, if you want to consider doing the blanket use, that's fine. Or if you felt like it should only be this way, that's fine. We advertise to allow for the general use, so you would have that option.
Aaron, is that you speaking?
Yes, sir.
What does the owner want?
Well, the owner is here and he's going to chat. So we'll let him. Are we done, Deborah? No, hold on. I'll finish. Let Deborah run through the rest of her slides.
So once again, the requesting product use submitted by the applicant is to establish a 1,400 square feet medical office. The board may consider to allow the establishment of a medical office anywhere within the 5,732 square feet shopping center. Currently, the shopping center has 4 existing bays. The uses are, there's a T-Mobile store, there have been business offices, and in the past, there was also a dentist office, which is considered medical use. So the size of the property is 0.37 acre. The building, as I said, is just over, it's about 5,700 square feet. It is a 1-story building, and currently there's 20 parking spaces on site. And given the configuration of this site and the shopping center to the south, it appears that both shopping centers share parking spaces. Here are the existing conditions of the site and the uses of the subject properties. So the analysis in the staff report states that the proposal is consistent with the comprehensive plan and strategic plan. It is consistent with the land development regulations, and positive findings can be made to grant the conditional use. A recommendation of approval is provided by staff, and once again, for board consideration is if a medical office could be allowed anywhere within the shopping center. It concludes my presentation. The applicant doesn't have a presentation, but I would like to provide them the opportunity to speak with the board.
Okay, thank you. Applicant, would you like to go ahead?
My name is John Gerber. I'm one of the principal owners, and then Jay Seidel is also with me. You can see him down at the bottom. He's the doctor. He's a podiatrist. He's actually relocating a practice from Federal Highway just a few blocks to the east of us. And he acquired a practice at that location, and the current landlord was not allowing him to be in that space past October 1st. So the relocation was necessary. The previous doctor that had the practice, Jay, do you want to talk about the practice a bit? And,
Yeah, sure.
and how long you had it established?
Sure. The practice has been there for, I believe, over 20 years. It's been serving primarily the residents of the immediate vicinity, and it functioning during normal business hours, 9 to 5. And I think a large majority of the patient population will continue staying at this new location should this conditional use be approved.
Don't you worry about what's in there now, a T-Mobile store? Look
Well,
like
it's vacant.
Actually, that's vacant at the moment. We are the space is up for lease. But the other thing too, to mention, the 20 sites that Deborah mentioned are on our location. And then there are also an additional 13 spaces that are shared with the property to the south. And we're also, there's some things involved that could make those, all those 13 parking spots available to us. But I can't go into details.
Do you have some kind of agreement between shared?
We're working on some things that are a little bit deeper than that, but I can't really go into it.
Yeah, so the parking spaces assigned to this spot are 20 parking spaces, and staff did the analysis, whether it's the entire plaza or the individual bay, the parking is consistent with our requirements for medical office.
Jake, John, can you tell us more about the existing or most recent uses here?
Okay, so the most recent uses, the large space was at one time a travel agency that did bus tours. You know about the T-Mobile store. And we're basically looking to continue that as an office. So we have had interest from a dental group that is interested in that space. So that is a potentiality, but we also have some other things that we've been thinking about.
Okay.
And we also, by the way, we own the property to the north, 210, the subway building. That's also us.
And
And
so you have a shared use on that one? Parking wise?
Well, it's our building, so we could allow our customers to park in either space, so it wouldn't be an issue.
Good. Not till you sell it.
All right, just one question. Are we talking about the relocation of the purchase of Dr. Ehrenberg's practice? That was on federal?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll start at that. Greg, are you done with your questions, or do you have?
Yes, I am. Go ahead, Adam.
We'll go down the line. Actually, you know what? Zaid, let's throw it over to you. Do you have any questions? We'll start with you.
I do not on this project, no.
Got it. All right, we'll start at this end. Mark, anything?
I'm good.
If I could say one other thing, we do appreciate the staff recommendation, and we definitely would fully support that if you guys would be willing to as well.
Are you referring to the blanket use?
Yeah, the blanket use, correct.
Thank you.
I didn't have any questions.
All right, Juan?
I don't have any questions. Seems pretty straightforward to me.
Hrpb, to start this okay with you there? Good. All right. Laura, anything?
Nope.
Parking's good with you?
That's fine.
All right. I asked my one question. I didn't have anything. I think right now, or the question before us, because in reading through the potential motion, I don't see a mention of blanket. So if there's going to be a motion, whoever makes it will need to decide whether they want to add blanket to it or not. Staff, if I can ask for clarification, I know we've done this in the past. Oftentimes that comes to us like over in the Park of Commerce, where they'll ask for a blanket use so they don't have to keep coming back here for things that may be innocuous or simple. And I'm assuming that's what the goal is on that. So as a board, we'll need to decide if that's the case. And I do want to clarify one thing as well, before it gets read. Under the approval, you guys have it ending in 056. That's a typo, correct? It's actually 06. So whoever reads the motion, if you read the approved one, drop that 5 right before the 6. The disapproved is correct.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
No problem. Just want to make sure we read it in right. Otherwise, we're approving something from next year.
And just to assist, if the board wants to make a motion to approve the blanket, you can just say blanket conditional use for the existing square footage and continue with the rest.
All right. Any discussion on the blanket versus non-blanket? All right, I'll just throw it out. Anyone would like to make a motion?
Anthony, wait a minute.
Yes, Greg.
Sherry, any letters of support or whatever?
We do not have any public comment whatsoever on this topic.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, who wants to have a motion? Or does anybody want to have a motion?
Anyone? Anyone need to get their feet fixed?
Sure, I'll do it.
All right, Ed's taking this one. Yeah, correct.
I move to approve planning and zoning board project number 21-005-0000056.
Wait, stop. Drop the 5 and replace that with a 0. That's the typo.
You know, we
There was
shouldn't have to
another
make you
0.
guys say the whole project number. I think we'll just say the subject project. Maybe we can sub it so we don't make you work so hard.
Okay, how about this? I move to approve planning and zoning board project number
BR 549.
as documented. Staff recommendation conditions for a blanket conditional use permit request to establish a medical office in the mixed-use Dixie Highway, MU-DH at 220 South Dixie Highway, based upon the competent and substantial evidence provided in the staff report and in the testimony at the public hearing.
Good job, Ed. Thank you.
Nicely done.
Very nicely done.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second goes to Mark. Any other discussion? All right, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Hi.
Hey, do we hear you?
Aye.
Okay.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
That's right.
you.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Should we?
All right. Now on to item E, PZB Hrpb 21-004-00001. Ordinance 2021-09, consideration of an ordinance, Chapter 23, Land Development Regulations regarding changes to the development appeal process.
Good evening. This is my presentation here in CETA for the record. So this is an amendment to our appeals process. Typically, after you all make a finding, there is an availability for people to first appeal to the city commission before then a final appeal can be gone to circuit court. So what we have, basically, it's kind of an older practice and it doesn't really facilitate due process as well as going directly to the court as provided for in the Florida statute. So a lot of cities are doing this. They're moving to circuit court for appeals just because dealing with the affected party situation and dealing with the entire appeal process is difficult. Now, this doesn't change applicants' appeals of administrative decisions. So it will still be heard by this board and the historic board if there's a site. I think we had, didn't we have last summer with the veterinary clinic, we had an appeal that we went through. So that appeal, type of appeal of the DRO decision, that still comes to you all. But a case where there's a quasi judicial proceeding, that would then be appealed to circuit court with these changes. Elizabeth, did you want to add? It's pretty typical. This is what the change is more typical than what we have.
Correct. This is very standard in local government practice. Like Aaron mentioned, the appeals process is set out in Florida statutes that appeals for government decisions go to circuit court. So this really just allows the applicant or the affected party, whoever is appealing, to get there faster and get their final decision faster, and takes care of the whole process in a more timely manner. It's more efficient for the applicant, the appellant, for staff time, and it's better due process to get them.
And that's done locally.
Correct, to their final stage first.
I guess the only issue is that when you look at, I'm not a lawyer, but I have been involved in these. And I could say that I'd be against it in the sense that one of the reasons you appeal to the circuit court is because they are very, they don't have any skin in the game. And a lot of the local government, one of the reasons it goes through there and it gets passed or not passed is because people have certain, they're not that, put it this way, they've taken sides and they've drawn lines. So I think the more fair part is to go to the circuit court because these are people that could hear something on a blank slate. That's my piece.
Isn't that, again, that is what we're doing.
That is what we're doing. They want to change it now to come back and have the same Lake Worth people that approved or disapproved, go back and.
We're changing it to go to court.
Oh, to go to court, okay,
Yeah.
that's fine, okay.
That's where you lost.
Yeah, so right now, your decisions are appealed, they have to be appealed first to the city commission. And so, for example, what happened with DOCA, the DOCA approval, is that got appealed to the city commission. Then the city commission remanded it back to you, but then the DOCA folks then appealed the appeal into circuit court. So like,
Might as well go straight to the big.
It's
Right,
going to be a lot.
Right.
Appealing of the appeals and the, you know, we have and the other piece of that is we have a staff of 4 that do
Right.
all the planning, zoning, historic preservation for the entire city. That's our staff. So it's very, when we're getting into now appeals of appeals and then ultimately.
If it stays here, it's also very slanted because people have their local opinions and that's why it goes somewhere else, right? So I think it's fair that way. Yeah, it should stay that way.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Or staff?
I do have one question on this one.
Yes, Dave, please go ahead.
So Aaron, would you mind just telling me, so the only decisions that would be appealed and would sort of skip the city commission to go straight to the circuit court, in other words, decisions that PZB is the final city decision on, are those just the quasi judicial proceedings, decisions resulting from quasi judicial proceedings?
So not all quasi judicial proceedings end with you as the final approving body. For example, you require ordinances to go through, or ordinances for like site plan approvals to go through a quasi judicial proceeding. This is a text amendment, so this is legislative in nature. So the projects that you are the final decision-making body on, those projects, if they are appealed, would then go to court instead of requiring them to first stop at the city commission.
To exhaust their remedies, yeah. I'm just trying to get a sense of what types of decisions would be going straight from us to circuit court.
I apologize. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. So those are site plan amendments, typically, and conditional uses.
And it also applies to Historic Resource Preservation Board and their final decisions.
And I will just say that this is at the direction of the city commission as well. So they've asked us to move forward with this, to give them an option to look at this as a process.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Greg, anything?
Nope, I'm fine.
All right. Well, I don't know if I'd go that far, but no questions for you. All right, anybody have a potential motion? All right.
I move to recommend to the city commission to adopt proposed LDR text amendments included in 21-004-00001 ordinance 2021-09.
All right, we got a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, seconded by Ed. Any further discussion? All right, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 I think I heard everybody. Any nays? All right, it's unanimous.
Nay.
Fingers to it.
There's no names.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I'm throwing a curveball. All right, motion passes 7-1. Okay, item F, PZB Hrpb project number 20-011-00001. A request by MAG Real Estate and Development, Inc. on behalf of Hammond Park on the Ave LLC for consideration of a replat to subdivide a portion of Hammond Park to the development known as Aviera on the Ave, which is a subject property. The property is located within the Northeast Eastern Local Historic District and is located within the mixed-use Dixie Highway zoning. The future land use of mixed-use east Before you guys get going, I remember this one, and that's why it's got the Hrpb on it, because it's half and half.
It's half and half.
So if you could make sure you give us a little bit of background on it, and is the divided part half and half as well? Or just because the whole site is
It's
half
just
and
the
half?
whole site is half
Okay,
and half. So-
thank you.
So let's go in. So as you can see, here's the subject location. So this little area of town between Publix and the original townhouse development, and then now the subsequent approval. I don't have the modification to the site plan. That was-
I hear a lot of papers ruffling. I can't understand you.
Sorry, Greg, I was trying to pull up the, in 2015, basically for this particular property, there was a major residential plan development approval. And this was for a portion of the original Hammond Park development that has now or is being constructed in accordance with that 2015 approval. And basically, this is the plat. So if you can just go ahead and move forward. So here's the zoning and the future land use. And then here's the plat. So just the story in a plat is really a very technical review. And in the code, the code requires you all as an advisory board to review what is called the tentative plat. And then the final plat approval rests with the city commission. So your motion would be a recommending motion on this particular item. And basically a plat is, we have an engineering consultant and a survey consultant review the plat for technical compliance with our city code requirements and with the requirements of Florida statute for plats. If this plat is approved, it will then be recorded with the clerk of court, as well as a copy of the plat will be recorded locally with our clerk. This plat reflects the 2015 approval, and the 2015 approval has a condition of approval required it to be replatted. And if you can see it in the original plat, this was townhome, basically fee simple townhomes. So now that has changed. Now it's now a single parcel with multiple buildings, or actually it's got a few tracks on it, but it's not a townhome configuration anymore. The 2015 approval modified, left the townhome design, but changed it to multifamily within the buildings. So, which is why they required them to replat it so that it was no longer reflecting the fee simple townhomes. So basically they're here on a technicality and a condition of approval from the 2015 approval, and they need to move forward. They're required to have their replat complete prior to their certificate of occupancy. They're getting close to that, so that's why they're here before us.
Can I ask one question, just to jump right in on that technical one? So since they're required to be replatted, we're gonna make a recommendation, but if the city commission denied their replat, would they actually be?
So they really, if you're denying a plat, it really needs to be on a technical reason to deny the plat. You need to find that the engineering is wrong or it doesn't reflect the right, yes.
Yeah,
Is this a fee simple?
It used to be fee simple and townhomes, it's now not fee simple.
Are they fire sprinkled or non-fire sprinkled?
I don't know the sprinkles. I imagine it's sprinkled in the building. The applicant can ask.
Yes, it does have fire.
And the ones that were fee simple are actually sprinkled as well, or?
That was a different developer. It's not their project.
Okay, so it's not there.
They were built in the first boom and then nothing happened. This property remained vacant. They came in 2015.
And those are fee simple, the original ones?
They were.
So those are not fire sprinkled. That saves you a lot of money. Yeah. So, anyway. Okay.
So, yeah, so it's a technical review. Matter in your packet is a letter from our survey and engineering firm that says that it meets the technical requirements. It's a Florida law thing, kind of why it's here, honestly. It's a part of your duties as a board.
Mark, any questions, any items? All right, nothing long. Ed, how about yourself?
I'm good.
All right, Laura, you good? Zaid?
Still with us?
This is a very, very attractive development that is about 3 blocks from my house, right on my way to Publix. And I understand it's technical, so just looking forward to getting it approved and everything, and then moving on. Yeah.
I'll just add that this doesn't change the configuration of the development. The development was constructed in accordance with the site plan approved in 2015.
Absolutely.
This is a condition of approval of that approval for them to do that to reflect the site plan. So, and I think it's a public comment too.
Sherry, didn't we have something?
I did receive a public comment, and it did probably actually have to do more with the site plan activity. It is from, I'll read it in the record right now, just briefly. Fred Romaine at 308 North J. And he's questioning whether the replat will have an effect on the emergency access gate. And that's pretty much what he has with a knockbox that has not yet been installed off J. This gate is on the site plan and needs to be installed for obvious reasons. I've asked the building department numerous times via email as to when it will be installed. And also asked for copies of the elevations showing the gate, and doesn't have an elevation plan or any installation date as of yet. So again, the question was, will the replat affect the emergency access gate? And I think Aaron's pretty much cleared that up, that this is more about the plat rather than the site plan.
Would a Knox, not a knockbox, but a Knox with an Xbox not be the responsibility of the property owner, the condo building, whatever,
Yeah.
not the building department?
Well, what if a Knox box is required for condition of approval in the site plan at installation? The installation of the gate in the box will be inspected as part of the certificate of occupancy. So they have not yet been granted a certificate of occupancy in part because they're finalizing their build out and like cleaning the last little cleanup, and they're finishing up their conditions of approval. So they don't have a TCO. They do have a TCO for a couple buildings. There have been some areas where residents have moved in because they've received a TCO, which is a temporary certificate of occupancy. But before they get the final CO, they will have to go through and they'll check that. If that was on the site plan, I don't know from the 2015 site plan if the security gate with that specific, feature was on there, but we'll certainly follow up and take a look. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board? All right, we had our public comment right in. So with that, I'll entertain a motion or a recommendation. Anyone wish to let these people meet their requirement from our 2015 meeting?
I will move to recommend approval of the subject application for a replat. And Aaron, I don't have to say the whole thing, right?
You can just say for the subject application, that's fine.
Okay.
You might want to add. You might want to add on your way to Publix.
Yeah, but if you can say that the proposal does meet the applicable criteria based on the data and analysis of the staff report, that's
The proposal meets the applicable criteria based on the data and analysis in the staff report.
All right, thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
By Juan. All right, any further discussion? Seeing there's none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those against? Nobody. 7-0.
fun fact, this will be going before the Hrpb next week. So, if you didn't have enough this evening and you want to see the results of the item.
You're in for a thrilling meeting, those Hrpb.
I'll be there for sure.
There's no staff.
Okay, so any planning issues other than what you mentioned about staff?
Yeah, I
Going
just
elsewhere?
want to share that unfortunately we have what we experienced in planning and zoning has now happened historic. We're all very proud of our historic planners. They've really made fabulous moves, and it's just kind of the nature of things at this time. Jordan Hodges, who was our coordinator, was offered a wonderful opportunity with the town of Palm Beach. an offer he couldn't refuse, without cement boots or cement shoes. you
And at
know?
the same time, Abraham was up.
And at the same time, Abraham is a young single man and looking to move to Miami. So he was recruited from somebody that he had previously worked with in Delray, who said, hey, I'm heading up this department down in North Miami Beach. Please come down and work with me. And so we're kind of in a pickle. Yeah. So we're keeping our chins up and we're rebuilding, and we found great staff to replace our planning and zoning crew. Alexis and Andrew were absolutely wonderful and we miss them, but now we have Deborah and we have Keezy, and we also have a zoning technician named Karina, who was promoted from our front desk. And she's in planning school. She's our zoning technician while she's going to planning school full time. So we're looking to get another planning intern soon, hopefully. And we're looking to fill our preservation spots. So if you know somebody who is into preservation or has an architecture or design degree, or when you want to give up your career and your thing, come be the historic preservation coordinator, you just probably not for a big pay cut.
Sounds attractive.
How could you turn it down?
We are looking for some good folks to come in and help continue the good work of Abe and Jordan. So.
Well, thank you. Any other planning issues?
No.
All right, very good. Public comment, no public here. Any comment in? Department reports. Shall we file that one under department? Board member comments? Mark?
We got nothing.
And
I'm good.
good.
Fine.
Hungry, I want to go home.
That's Mark. Mark's board member. I'm hungry and would like to go home. Read that.
Read that in the public record.
You're already home. You're halfway there. Dave, anything for us?
Nothing, no.
Right, very good. Well, with that being the case, we will adjourn this meeting at 7:38.
Got you out of here, Andy.
Yeah,
Anthony.
really worked on it.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I think that's a record, is it not, Greg? 6 cases in 1 hour and 38 minutes,
I have to say, I'm surprised.
and efficiently as well. Very thorough.
Yes, it is.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.